Welcome to Top Shelf Tech. We're doing AWS recap this week. Very exciting, of course, with reInvent on. Normally, I'd enjoy this time of year up in Las Vegas. It's kind of been my end of year sabbatical somewhat for the last few years, where I could spend some time thinking about what's coming next and soaking in. Not so this year, but we've been fortunate enough that AWS has put on an awesome show so far online. And to talk to us about that today, we've got Haren, Head of Territory for New Zealand. And Haren, welcome along.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks for having me here. It's just awesome to be here. What a difference a year makes, isn't it? We had nearly close to 60,000 visitors last year to reInvent in Vegas. But it's gone all virtual now. We are expecting around 250,000 people logging in. And it's just always awesome to really be there physically, but this time be there virtually, right? And like you said, there's always quite a lot of things which come out of reInvent, which is what I have been looking forward to in my last 4 years in AWS.
Yes.
The stuff that comes out during reInvent is just a bucket load.
It is. Yeah. It is. I truly do use it. I sort of, before this Christmas break, just sponge up, it's busy end of the year, sponge up some stuff and you spend the Christmas break thinking about, what direction are all these things taking us?
Exactly. And it's really a lot of things for our customers as well. And the interesting thing is 90% of the stuff that comes out are driven from customers telling us, hey, look, we would like to have this. I wish you had this one. And likewise, for example, this year, we have quite a lot of announcements around different instance types, etc. But I'm actually going to talk to you today about two really interesting stuff. One, the stuff that's happening around Connect, which is a service that's gone gangbusters, especially during these challenging times, a lot of organizations. And of course, the topic that is quite top of mind for a lot of people, which is machine learning, right? And there's a whole bunch of customer announcements around there. But that's what I would like to cover in the next 10 minutes or so with you.
So AWS Connect, let's start there. We've seen a number of customers pick that up locally, but we've got announcements this week. I think 4 new key features that really offer, I think when it was released a couple of years back, everybody could see the promise, and now you're starting to see that promise translate into new features that really hone that customer experience.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because if you take a few years back when Amazon Retail was trying to find a solution that fits their call center, they looked around, there was actually none. So we decided to build something. And this is where the origin of Amazon Connect really comes in. And it started off slowly, as with a lot of things in AWS, but it's gathered momentum. And what's actually happened, COVID's really accelerated adoption from a lot of customers. And you're absolutely right. We had a few customers here, more than a few customers. Like, for example, Vodafone, they get about 1.7 million calls to their call center every month.
Yes.
And they are moving now to AWS Amazon Connect to really move all that stuff onto Amazon Connect. And likewise, Trust Power, again, one of the energy retailers in the market, right? And so Amazon Connect is interesting because it's an omni-channel call center service that actually services call centers as small as maybe just 10 people, 10 agents to as big as thousands of agents, right? It scales up pretty well, really good cost performance. Because you actually pay as a customer. You only pay for the stuff that your agents are using. You're not paying for massive upfront investments on the call center application that we have with Amazon Connect. And in fact, we actually launched 5 different new features on that.
5, I got it wrong. One more.
Yeah, it's always more. I look tomorrow, there might be another one. Right? And firstly, a couple of interesting ones. So there's a customer profiles for Amazon Connect. What that does is, Jeremy, a lot of our customers say, look, their agents have to go between multiple systems just to figure out who's the customer who's calling, what's their profile, what's their history. But what Amazon Connect customer profiles does, it actually pulls everything into one place for the agent to look at.
So this draws on your data experience, your capability to draw, build data lakes, etc., and starts to bring that into the world of Connect.
Absolutely. And on top of that, a lot of machine learning as well.
Yes.
All right. So there's a couple of other features that we are launching there, like Amazon Voice, Connect Voice, which actually helps the callers to be identified through their voice alone. So customers don't really have to tell, hey, look, my custom ID is ABC, XYZ, right? When they speak to the agent, it automatically gets identified as who the caller is, and they get routed to the right type of agent profile as well. Because some of the challenges customers have is, how do I match the customer profile? You have a high profile customer that needs to be serviced by a more experienced agent, versus a newer customer or a smaller business customer that needs to be managed by a different type of agent.
That voice identification is quite a simple thing, I guess, in some regards. But on the flip side, if I'm calling somebody now, I'm always on my mobile. So they ask me for my customer number, and where's my customer number? It's on the app on my mobile. So you sort of, take, phone away.
It's the up and down, right? It's always challenging. So these are two interesting pieces there. On top of that, actually, so we talked about customer profile, Amazon Connect voice, and in terms of for the agents themselves, quite a large amount of time that they spend is really trying to open up and complete tasks. So we launched Amazon Connect Tasks, which simplifies that whole operation. Just like taking a call or creating a chat, you actually just do that so it gets logged into different systems. Because today, agents have to go into multiple systems to log their tasks. And it's really an admin piece which you really don't want the agent to be doing. So this simplifies that part as well. Then we have actually Amazon Connect Contact Lens for Amazon Connect, which enables the managers or the supervisors in the call centers to really go in and jump in when certain things like when they see a customer is getting unhappy with the experience.
Sentiment analysis using ML to
exactly. So using machine learning, we're actually identifying things like customers saying, I'm not happy, for example, or I need a refund. So rather than actually waiting for the agent to be escalating this quickly alerts the managers to jump in and actually support it and give a better customer experience end of the day. Because as long as you keep your customers happy, that's it.
And it's pretty important. We run service desk here ourselves for our customers, and my experience with them is often the economics of dealing with a problem immediately and upfront and saying, actually, I can resolve that issue right now. You don't have an unhappy customer who's calling back who needs to speak to a manager. And the knock-on effect actually is quite, I think, compelling to a business.
Exactly. And it's really about building that customer experience. And one great example is actually what BNZ is going to do here in New Zealand. So they got about 800 staff in their call center. What they're doing is they're going to adopt Amazon Connect for all their staff. But more interestingly, they are launching the first Kiwi voice capability. That's built on Amazon Poly and machine learning capabilities that's underpinning that. What it does is, like, if you are a customer who's calling into BNZ call center in the future, you'll be answered by Afina, which is the first Kiwi voice capability, first ever in New Zealand. And you can speak in 3 languages: English, Te Reo Maori, and Kiwi as well, right? So it's really got all the slangs in Kiwi in there as well, which is just awesome to really see. So this is the first time that an organization in New Zealand has really actually launched this. So they'll be moving 800 of their agents, all their agents, effectively onto Amazon Connect as we go forward.
It's be like watching a movie and you've got a Kiwi actor in it and you see it and it just is jarring. It's used to like used to hearing an Americanized voice or something like that.
Exactly, that's true. So it's called Afina, and BNZ just announced that. So it's really great to partner with customers like that for us in the market. And like I said, Vodafone is another customer who's actually just announced in November that they'll be moving their call centers onto AWS as well. And they're also supporting a lot of their customers to move their contact center.
Learn yourself and teach your customers. It's a great model.
So that's a lot of stuff that is happening around Connect specifically as a service, and which we have seen a lot of customers adopt at the moment, especially because of COVID and the fact that they need to spin off call centers, get people working from different locations, and in a much more cost beneficial way for the organization as well.
And we had call centers here in New Zealand that couldn't function with COVID as well. So I think people have figured out pretty quickly that that tech debt, you have to repay it, and if you're going to repay it, you may as well actually go implement something that's going to give you some business advantage as well.
Absolutely, exactly. And that's what you're saying. Customers are coming to us saying, how can we deploy something faster? How can we deploy something that is omni-channel, not just the voice piece, but also the chat piece, etc.
Absolutely.
That's combined. That's all part of the experience that you're giving to end customer. And that's what Amazon Connect, as well as the underlying machine learning capabilities, actually provide our customers to do with their customer experience.
So speaking about machine learning capabilities, you're also pretty excited about some of the machine learning announcements.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, and the machine learning announcements, what we heard from Andy Jassy in the first day is just really the brief part of it. There's going to be a separate machine learning keynote that is done by Swami next week's time. But there's a couple of key things. One of the key things there is actually we talked about launching Amazon Cranium. right? So AWS Cranium. So what Cranium does is really it enables better deep learning training for machine learning models. And one of the challenges a lot of our customers have is, yes, with a lot of capabilities that is available there, now you can accelerate inference. However, something that's holding a lot of our customers back is really the capability to do training of machine learning models in a low cost, budget friendly manner. So what Cranium does is actually it is really the second machine learning instance that we have launched, which is specializing on deep learning, right? Especially on deep learning training, and this helps to deliver the machine learning model training in a much better manner, much more cost performance manner, and it takes out quite a lot of cost that's associated with actually the training of the models. That's really holding a lot of customers back. Now, what customers will be able to do in the future is that with Cranium as well as Inferentia, which we launched last year in Reinvent, which is focused actually on the accelerating of inference, which is effectively about 90% of infrastructure costs for a lot of customers when it comes to machine learning.
Yes.
In combination with Inferentia, now Cranium allows customers to do end-to-end machine learning from training to accelerating inference. So that's really a great story for a lot of customers. And I've seen a lot of customers use Amazon or AWS for machine learning. We have over 100,000 customers using machine learning from Amazon, which includes like the big ones like Zillow or Expedia, to smaller customers who are startups like Airbnb, etc. So there's a lot of customers who are picking this up, and it's really exciting news for a lot of these people to really now get onto that and very quickly do both training as well as inference at a much more low cost barrier.
This is part of, I guess, an overall strategy we're seeing from AWS to lower the barrier of entry to machine learning. Exactly. You've launched the marketplace, I think, last year, or was it the year before, with where you could, go, consume machine learning models from other places. You've of course got stuff like Deep Racer to help people in. We've got a Kiwi competing, Tony Gennis, and I think he's sat in lockdown and quarantine, right now, spending 2 weeks trying to get his models right. Hopefully, hopefully he can bring home a win for the Kiwis. But there's a lot happening in AWS to sort of just lower the barrier of entry and help more people get into machine learning.
Absolutely, I'm like, because as I mentioned, there's going to be a lot more announcements hopefully coming out with Swami talking about it. But that's what we have been working for a longest period of time. Really, how can we help customers do better recommendations? How can we help them do better learning of things that they want to really serve? At the end of the day, deliver a better customer experience for their customers as well. So things around that. So that's really a big focus area for us, and a lot of capability that we've brought across to customers in the market.
Awesome. So watch this space. There'll be a keynote on specifically on this in the next couple of days. We'll learn a bit more about it.
Absolutely.
The couple of other things that interested me in the last couple of days, we saw new outposts, and we probably haven't had a great deal of uptake of outposts in New Zealand, but with 1U and 2U boxes, and we know that for some customers latency is important, and local processing for certain applications can be important. That's kind of made it a lot more accessible to the New Zealand market.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, Outpost, we launched Outpost because customers are saying, I really need something closer to home because I have low latency workloads that I want to run closer to home, right? So Outpost gave the capability of compute, storage, as well as data analytics, and basically the cloud capabilities in a box. But what we have done now is we have announced the launch of 1U and 2U, like you just said. It's like a single pizza box or two pizza boxes stacked on top of each other capability, which you can actually put off in things like small retail outlets, so that they can actually run some of this stuff in-house, literally. And that's the capability that you're bringing. So because some customers have challenges around space for a big refrigerator side rack, which is normally the Outpost rack. So what we have done is now the smaller 1U and 2U units can really deploy in much smaller space constrained areas, as in certain things like retail outlets.
And of course, just same management tools, part of your the region that's local to them, and easy to plug in and use. I guess similar to the Mac announcements as well.
Yeah, cool. That's really exciting, isn't it? I'm like, we know, like there's never been anything which enabled macOS developers to get something on the cloud. There's millions of developers who develop things on macOS really so that they can plug pieces onto Apple ecosystem. But what we have done is now, for the first time, we announced macOS capability on EC2. So you can actually run, and don't worry about, the developers don't have to worry about doing the heavy lifting. They can just focus on developing cool stuff for end users, and that's what we actually announced on that.
Absolutely. And look, we've seen hosting companies offer Macs, hosted Macs in the past, but I don't think we've ever seen it with the wrap around it. Again, the same management wrap, using Thunderbolt to access Nitro-based services like Elastic Block Storage. So it actually, fits into the broader cloud ecosystem, which is cool to see.
I'm super excited. I have got a lot of mates who are actually really big time Mac users and Mac followers, and this is something which they've been asking for a long time. And we are bringing that capability to a lot of customers here. But before we close off as well, I also do want to highlight a few other customers locally. Like we got customers like Chassis in New Zealand, which almost revolutionized, or I would say revolutionized, the way somebody who's got $5 being able to go in and buy some shares on New Zealand Stock Exchange.
Rather than houses, right?
Exactly, rather than houses at the moment, which is pretty expensive. Or in the same manner that somebody who's got $500,000 be able to do that, right? So Chassis is one of our Activate alumni, part of our startup ecosystem, but they've done an awesome job in scaling up and providing that capability to a lot of KVs to really not just buy shares locally, but also now buy shares internationally.
Absolutely,
right? And they're being powered by AWS. So we are super happy that they are able to scale using the capability that we provide to them.
Awesome. Well, look, thanks a lot for joining us today. It was great to get a recap, and we've got two more weeks, I think, worth of announcements.
Exactly. Right? So there's a lot of things happening. Watch this space. 2 more weeks to go, and we'll have similar updates coming up in the near future as well. So it's just exciting. I'm really, and it's a big experiment which is going on. Going virtual with a very large number of people, but as with everything else, we are learning as we go, and we are really finding that experience becoming pretty impressive for a lot of customers.
I enjoyed the keynote, and I didn't think I would watching it remotely. I'm sort of bit over the virtual conferences, but I actually I thought it was good. Very good to watch.
Thanks. So thank you, Jeremy.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, and thank you to watching today. We will be bringing you more updates from AWS reInvent, and hopefully you've got some time towards the end of the year to watch and soak up a little bit of the new releases, and hopefully some interesting stuff there for you. Cheers.
All right. Thank you.